What do you call 5 T-800s walking through ruins? A heavy metal band. Bad jokes aside, what you actually call it is a diorama in a box by Pegasus. Now, I really enjoyed this build. It was fun, it was quick, and it was easy. It's also fairly cheap. I picked mine up for about $35, but I've seen them listed for more than $50, so your mileage may vary. But it is reasonably affordable for what you get. And what you get includes a base with a ruined wall and 5 figures with 2 sprues per figure. The figures come with the option for the right arm to either be empty or holding a laser rifle. All T-800s are apparently right-handed. Who knew? The figures are posable, but only a bit. The shoulder, elbow, hip, and knee joints can be adjusted to get different poses, but all along that same vertical plane. The instructions are simple and fairly straightforward, but can be a bit difficult to sort out when looking at the upper leg parts. That was really the only gripe with the instructions, a little bit of careful study and multiple test fits, and you'll be able to get through it without any real major issues. Now when it comes to the build, my kit came with a fair amount of flash, but it cleaned up fairly easily. The fitment, however, wasn't great, and that's probably true with your kit too. The two halves of the skulls really don't want to come together and will take a fair amount of encouragement to get them into place. When assembling the leg, it's important to remember that there is a right and a left for the upper legs as well as for the feet. So be sure to keep that organized so you don't get a T-800 with 2 left feet or a backward leg. Also, when assembling the upper legs, make sure that you have good alignment all the way through the attachment point on the hip. There's like a little washer shape on the inside of the upper leg that goes through. Make sure that's lined up good. Now the hip joints and the shoulders don't always want to cooperate, so you will want to have the arm and the leg poses kind of figured out before you actually attach them to the torso. Now I had a few small annoyances during the build, but all of those can be dealt with just a few minutes of work, and once you have the poses figured out, assembly of the figures goes very quickly. Aside from getting the figures assembled, you will need to attach the ruined wall to the base. Now, there's a massive gap all the way around it when you set it in there. You will need to address that. I was able to make it work with just a few liberal applications of sprue goo, and you can't even tell. All right, now painting. When it came to painting, I leaned heavily on dry brushing, speed paints, and washes. And I got through this thing in a breeze. I mean, I basically did this over a weekend without much effort. When it comes to painting the base and the ruined wall, I used rust colors and kind of browns on the bricks, and then I used lighter tan and gray colors for the concrete, which I covered with a variety of speed paints and washes to give both of those some depth and a little bit of texture. For the base itself, I settled on a mix of reddish gray and tan earth colors, which I mostly applied using dry brushing. And then I went in and covered it all with a gray wash to tie it all together. skulls individually, I painted with a light tan color, and then I went over it with pallid bone speed paint to give them a little bit more depth. Same thing with the fallen pillars and the rubble. Light gray color applied to hit most of the higher surfaces, and then just a coat of Gravelord Gray speed paint to create some more depth there. And the fallen power lines, I painted those in rubber black. Piece of cake. The very last thing I painted was the figures. And this was probably the easiest part of the whole thing. They are chrome. So I got my hands on some super chrome from AK, poured it straight from the bottle into the airbrush, and sprayed it on liberally. Then I just used a little bit of clear red paint for the eyes and called it good. I almost painted the teeth, but after I looked at them, they were so small, I just didn't really see the point. I thought it would make them look really goofy. After that, I was a quick application of Tamiya black panel liner to bring out some of the details, and it was done. I glued them to the base using some super glue, and then I touched up any of the super glue spots with a little bit of the thinned reddish gray that I used earlier on the base. And that was that. So this was a very fun and easy build. I mean, yes, it had a few annoying moments, but ultimately, this is a kit you can knock out in a weekend and have a really good time doing it. And in the end, you get a friggin' Terminator diorama. How cool is that? Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did enjoy it, please take a moment and give a like and a subscribe. And tell me down in the comments, what is your favorite Terminator quote? Light them up. One last word of warning. If a big guy wearing leather and sunglasses ever says to you, "Come with me if you want to live," he probably owns a panel van.